Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Design Recharge. Used to be called Design Recharge, now it's called Creatives Ignite. And sometimes when I'm really tired, I still call it Design Recharge. Clearly. I have had a busy few weeks, and I know you have too, Pippa, and I'm excited. So Pippa's one of the people that I meet with every Monday, and I love Pippa. We've known each other since 2021.
Yeah, I
We've
think so.
like met weekly since 2021, which I
2021.
think it's pretty, I mean, it's, we've grown our businesses. Done, she's obviously done lots of things on her own and separate, but then I get to hear about things. And then this past December, our little group met and we did this thing that really helped me. It was our quarterly plan, and we have another one coming up, I think sometime in March, where
In
is our
March.
next quarter. We already have it on the books. But she's one of those people that I get to fall on my face in my business with. I get to cry or be like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm good at this, or I don't think should I do this? So there's something about this. So a lot of what we're going to talk about is collaborating and how it actually helps you in a lot more ways than you think. And we were just talking before we went live about just how being friends is a really nice way to collaborate. So anyway, um, Pippa, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Thanks so much, Diane. So, hey everyone, I'm Pippa Tanko and I am a strategy-driven brand photographer. I am based just south of London in the UK, so it is nighttime here, as you can see. Um, yeah, and I help clients get really visible in their business so that they can attract the right people into their world.
Yeah, because if you don't, if they don't know you're for them, they're never going to call you or book you, or you're not going to come up in a search or anything. And I used to really, I maybe this is just a trend, but I used to really just think, oh, I can do anything. You need me to do that? No problem. I can do that. And I think you've done that too in photography,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yeah,
But
100%.
you are focusing now on three things. What are those three things?
So I work mostly with creators, and the three things that I'm focusing on are kind of helping creators build their personal brand. So that's the first one, and really showing who they are and who they're trying to attract. The second is in the construction industry, which creating beautiful projects and beautiful buildings, working with architects. And then the third is working with creators of products, whether that's jewelry or homewares or anything like that,
Or even wellness stuff, right?
or
So
even wellness stuff. Yeah.
sometimes product photography it doesn't get across, or the packaging doesn't get across how amazing the product is. And that's a huge thing that people are like, oh, that looks like plastic. I'm not paying that for this. And so photography is really, really important. And you have seen it, but you've also been you've had some big names. You've worked for some people who you've made some really good collaborations. I think about Aquila Jewelry, who
Mhm.
was Etsy store. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that just will jump into Aquila, and I'll find the link and
Sure.
so that you can share. But kind of tell where she was when she hired you and why she hired you.
Sure. So I started working with Aquila a few years ago now, and she was selling her jewelry on Etsy. She had just launched a website, but she wasn't really getting the traction on selling the products through the website. And she had the most incredible story. And so what I helped her do was tell that story through her visuals and her product photography. So not just the story images, but also how we could pull that story in and create a very consistent look and feel through all of her imagery. So she was feeling really frustrated because she had this beautiful jewelry, but she just was taking the photos herself and she couldn't do it justice.
And these were, I think you started with her from a brand shoot. Like you weren't starting in a product shoot, right?
Absolutely. So I started off working on her personal brand imagery, and that's where I started. And we did quite a varied shoot, that first shoot, but mostly we were incorporating her and her story. All her jewelry comes from places she's traveled to and has an emotional connection with. So we were trying to pull that through and show that through her Instagram channel and on her website. And then when she saw, we included these flat lays that you can see across the top there now.
This?
Yes, the Ugandan and the Agra. So we created those flat lay jewelry pieces, and she saw the value of how you can actually tell a story through product images. And that's when she then hired me to create product images as well.
I wish I could click on it and see it bigger. I know I can't on on your site. Okay, but then and she went, now she had, I was trying to find an about page or something, but I couldn't, I don't see. Oh, there we go. But this is one of the things that she has a store now, and maybe she has two stores, right? So we're going from Etsy to now people value I mean, it's huge, right? But if you're talking about standing out, these images on Etsy still would stand out, but this allows her to feel like she can sell overseas, or she can sell within country, things like that, right?
Yes, absolutely. And what's great is she's also actually got some of the imagery that we've taken printed in blocks on the shelves so that you can see the jewelry and how it might feel like to wear it. You can see those model images. And so even when you're in store, it still brings in not only through the decor of the store, but also through that imagery being on display in the store.
Yeah. And so it started out, she contacted you. She wanted some, which most people do. They're saying, hey, Pippa, you're a photographer. I want
headshots.
Headshots. But it's so much more. It should be more than just headshots. And we talk, and you love this part. You absolutely love and Maya, yes, you saw we did one last year, the year before. Yes, and she does paint as well. Pippa does paint. She's been doing some creative stuff as well. But this Aquila's not her name. That's just the name of her company, right?
Her name is Stacy.
I always call her Aquila. Anyway, but you started with this, and then you started shooting the products, and there's and there's other things that she is now able to test. So again, a great collaboration. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll
Sure. So she has also she's added a new kind of collection where it's not down the jewelry route anymore. So she's now introduced more homewares, very much in line with her branding, and she sources them from the same locations as she sources the jewelry. But when she came to me, she's like, I really don't know how well these are going to sell. Like, they sell quite well in the store, but I'm not sure how they're going to do online. So what we did was we just shot a couple of them and said, right, let's shoot them. Let's do some test images and see how well they sell. And then if they sell really well, and if this is something that you want to pursue ongoing, then we can shoot the whole line and start to sell it. So we chose the two best products and we shot those. And now she's testing that to see whether those are going to sell. And then if the answer is yes, then she'll get the whole line. So it just helps you understand your target audience and whether they're interested in what you're selling. So just testing and then seeing what sells and what doesn't, and which images they're drawn to out of the images. And you can look at all of that through analytics.
And you're able to, you're not saying, oh, we're going to book a shoot that's, 80 pieces. That's not a test, right? She had some pieces in her store. She wanted to see if those would sell online. This is a test is small.
Yes,
If
it's
somebody's
small.
booking you for a small, what does that look like? How
So,
many pieces?
so she did 2 pieces and we did
Okay.
5 images per piece. So we could show the details, show the overall product, and then give more of a story image. So we tend to, with product photography, you need one image that's really shows the product and what you're going to get so that when someone orders it online, when it shows up, it is the same color as they saw it online. It looks like it does when they receive it. Because what happens is if you get the color wrong or the fabric doesn't look right, then they get it and they're like, oh, this isn't what I thought it would look like. Now I'll send it back. So it's making sure you've got one image that is a true representation of the product. And then it's selling the story, like what would it look like hanging in your home. And we did some images of them with sunlight, dappled sunlight on them to show what it could feel like in your home when that evening light is shining through your window. So, and then also some detail so you get to see close-ups of whatever it is depending on each product. But on hers it was some beadwork that we wanted to show and some stitching and that sort of thing.
How long, like when did she contact you and you did I need headshots? When was that?
Mm, I think that was in 2020.
So in that
2020.
amount of time, she's gone from Etsy to
Yeah,
a brick and mortar store to now selling online
yeah.
and a second store, or she's
So she trialed a second store, but she's actually now selling more wholesale into other stores. So that's a new element that she's just added.
but that
Um,
was also prompted from just conversations with you.
Yes, absolutely. So we had a meeting and we were chatting about how we could help her move the business forward. I'm very big on helping people, like seeing what their journey is, where their vision is, where they're trying to get to, and then helping them, enabling them to get there. It's not just about the photography, it's about all the knowledge and expertise I bring. So it was a conversation where she was like, oh, I'm not really sure. Like I could open another shop, but we're already in this location and I haven't found the right other location for another store. So I'm not really sure. And I asked her, which is the one that scares you the most? And she was like, going wholesale. And I said, that's probably the direction you need to go in. Because in my experience, when I run towards the fear, I make really big progress.
One of the things that is different, and Pippa and I are working together now, so we're friends. We've been in a small group where we meet for I don't 3 years, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And and then so Pippa went through a brand a,
A
a
rebrand.
rebrand, a new name. It was a
Mhm.
new logo, right? And you did this with somebody who also was one of your clients, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
So is
So,
that something? Because this seems like, did you know Aquila? I know that's not her name. Did you know Stacy before she hired you?
no, she was introduced to me by someone that I knew.
Okay. So it's a lot is telling your friends, telling people you know that are in your space that you are around about what you do. How many of us, hey, Amy, I see you over there. How many of us maybe our friends don't know exactly what we're doing? And maybe we've pivoted and we don't know. So at this point, Pippa has done lots of architecture and interiors for years. I mean, years and years, done products for years,
Mm-hmm.
but and the you were pivoting to do more working with creatives specifically and doing some of this brand photography, which is more than headshots. So but the thing I love is that Pippa and I are very similar in this way that we tend to um, have a client and then they stay with us, and it's not like they're like, oh, I need a new look, I've got to go to somebody else with a new photography, because it's never Pippa's photography, it's for the person, it's what they need. And so, which is very designer based as well. And you've done lots of groups where you're learning and you pay for your education, so we're similar in that. But you So Richard, was your client and he did your rebrand. And
That's
like,
correct.
how did you decide, um, that he was the right one for this?
I think for me, and certainly I think this rings true for the clients that come to me, is that I need to or know, like, and trust that person before I will trust them enough to work with them or to spend money with them. I need to trust that they are good at what they do, that we are aligned, our values are aligned, our beliefs are aligned. And I don't think you're really good friends with people where those don't align. So I think for me, it's having had that relationship before I knew I needed his services. And that's certainly true when I'm working or marketing to clients. I'm looking to build a relationship with people because sometimes they'll only need me 9 months a year down the line. But if you have that tried and tested relationship, then it also means that when you work together, it is much more collaborative. It feels much more collaborative because you have a strong relationship. Do I get clients where I don't have that relationship? Absolutely. And they usually come through a referral, which builds up the trust very, very quickly. And then my whole process that I have and the strategy that I put in place is all to enable us to build that relationship before I stick a camera in their face.
So I love that. So it's not just and same way with me. Not all of my clients, I would also say, are collaborators. And so, were you on a Melanie Chadwick
Yeah,
podcast?
I was looking, I'm racking my brains trying to think. I don't think it was me. I don't know. It might have been, and I've forgotten, but I don't think so.
She's had a busy year, people. But, okay, so but I love, and not all of our clients are going to be that. We're going to be really good friends with them, and some people just they um it 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 isn't in. It's not that they're bad if they're not. It's also just it's just the type of relationship that you have. I don't think everybody should be, but I think some. I mean, I really like doing that. But I also think like when I'm doing web work, I usually, I mean, I think it's weird that I've done some people's sites 3 times. It's not that they don't like it. It's that in 5 years, I start bugging them. I'm like, hey, we need to do a new site. And then we do another site. And then, in another 5 years, we do another site. And
And I
so,
think, our businesses change. We change. Our vision for the business change. We got to the vision we were looking to get to when we first built that website, and now it's time to move on to the next step. And so that's really what made me decide to pivot or to change my branding and rebrand, was because my business had changed so much from where it was, and I had a new message to share. I solved different problems to what I was solving before. I learned a lot more. I wanted to show the other elements that I had to offer that were not just photography. So I think it's when you have that change, and sometimes I was chatting to someone this morning and she said every now and then your business is like a glow stick. You have to break it to make it shine again. And that's kind of what I feel like I've gone through. I've had to kind of break what I was doing and now build up this new kind of better version of it that it adds all the other elements that I now offer into it.
and it's also, you figured out what you really like. You figured out what you are, how you are different,
Mm-hmm.
and you've continued to refine, and you know how really the way you photograph, the way you work with people can really help their business. And I think that um it's definitely niched, but you have 3 different areas, like the same people. We're building landing pages so that each of those people are going to be able to go and feel like it's just really about them. But um when you were looking, so you had the rebrand, and this makes me feel weird because this is about me, and Pippa already knows this, and y'all probably know this too, but it makes me uncomfortable. So, what was important for you? I'm just reading the question. What was important for you when you were looking to create a new site? when did you know that it was time? I mean, you had the rebrand, you knew you were offering something different. Was it just a automatic? You were just gonna, instead of using the same layout you had before, and just put new pictures in? Why decide to do a new site?
So I wanted it to be different. I didn't want it to look like all the other sites. And when I've built sites for myself, what I tend to do is I go and look at other people's sites that I love, and then I copy elements of them. And about 2 years ago, I stopped following lots of photographers because I felt like I was constantly comparing myself to them and
Mm.
deciding who was better than me and who wasn't. Whereas I didn't actually know whether that was true. And I was getting distracted by what this shiny thing was and that shiny thing was. And so what I wanted was something that was very me in my unique way. And when I stopped following a lot of photographers, I started to, I always use this and I never get it right, but march to the beat of my own drum. And so when I was looking at building a website, I wanted someone who could help see me from an external perspective, because it's very hard to see yourself through someone else's eyes. And so that's why I decided it was something I wanted to outsource, something I wanted someone else on. But I think what really attracted me to you was the creative element that you bring, and your kind of understanding and like the way you pull out bits of my story and what's going on. And you have this real clarity in how I look from the outside. And I think that just came through having conversations with you over the past however long we've known each other.
So that's how I built trust, was, and you were able to see when I was proud of something that I had done. And Amy Lyons, I always use your case studies page, so you can just plop that over there in the chat, because I'm always using that, and I showed Pippa too. So are you okay if I share a little bit? I'm going to share that you can't go there yet, but soon we are really close to being able to launch. Are you good if I go under the hood with these people?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. I'm sharing the new homepage. Now, I use StoryBrand as my as how I build. And one thing that Pippa had said was she wanted it to be different, and it's getting, now it's clear. I so I decided, okay, let's make some buttons that are different. Let's use these angles. And this is not a slider. This is a video. I just made a video of some of the images that she had. And all of the stuff, the type, is stuff she said in many of our conversations, but when we were going through the story brand framework, which I do with everybody, and we've done it. People do it for different. If it was like Aquila, and it was, you were doing it for her home products, you could do it for Aquila, the whole store. You could do it Aquila wholesale. You could do it Aquila jewelry, and you could do a rings, even if it was just rings, and then other kinds of jewelry or whatever. And there's the Aganda when we see it bigger finally. But that was something. The colors were, and the typography was given to me by Richard, right? That was something I am really, if somebody set something for you, I am going to absolutely use those things. And it wasn't, and there's Richard. It wasn't, there was a whole bunch of fonts that we needed to use on the web or whatever. So I did get to add some other things, but do you want to say anything about this part of the site?
What I loved is that actually the brief that I gave Diane, I think, as well, that I wanted to bring something African into my branding or my website, and the colors that I've used through the branding, the pink and the yellow, is that representing the African sunset. So that's actually very much a part of me. But not only that, those are the colors I often wear as a person, as you can probably see. But I was really excited by the fact that Diane was creating some patterns at the time. And I was like, I'd really like to bring in some African something, whether it's African design, African patterns, um, and create something. So I really love these three elements at the bottom: the connect, the stand out, and stay. Like those have been created and are unique. They're created by Diane and they're unique. They're not something we've downloaded from somewhere and that we've decided to use. And that was really important to me. And that's one of the reasons why I chose Diane to be able to help me design this, because I wanted it to be uniquely me and different, but aligned with who I am and my story, which is I was born in South Africa, and that's a big part of who I am.
And so I'm still am working on patterns, but this is something that I found. I was like, you know what? I would really like to bring patterns into the websites I make. Sometimes when you get to a row, it needs something else. And so I had made all these and then I am using the color palettes, and then I can't tell you how many rock different color combos we had, and
Sizes of rocks,
and sizes,
all
but
sorts of different things.
and this is something that now she has these patterns to be able to use, because I'm not creating them for me. I'm creating them for her to be able to use, and this was stuff that we did early. We work on the homepage and we worked on patterns, but some of the patterns that I've created, so these are custom icons, which I think sometimes maybe people don't always do, but just like Pippa does with her clients, she's not just like, oh, wear the blue shirt and we're going to go set you in front of this one wall that I always shoot all my clients. That is not like that at all for her. And it's not like that for me either. I'm always this her main thing, Let's Talk, is where you can go and you can I don't know, you can book your 30-minute call and you're just reminded, so you don't have to scroll up and out and all this stuff. But this is one of the patterns that I did for Pippa that we're using subtly. We use it at the top, and then when you're going into a like mobile or tablet, it's still there too. Sometimes it's a little bit behind some of the type. Is there anything else you want to talk about with
So
that one?
again, I've been able to take some of these. So I've used this one again when I'm sending emails out to clients or to my audience. And so it's got that kind of consistency from my website through to the other elements. And I'm sure I'll be using them in social media posts and things like that. But it's just another element that we've brought that also aligns because it has that African feel and it feels aligned with me.
And I don't think we're done making patterns. We're done
No,
right
I don't
now
think
because we got
so.
to finish some more things. But I think that that's something, because she's shown me other things. I'm not copying things. I'm using things just like we would
As
for anybody,
inspiration.
as
Yeah, yeah,
inspiration, and
yeah.
using her brand colors to do those things. So she already has lead magnets. This is one of her lead magnets, which I love. That these will be rotating quarterly, which again, if you're thinking about standing out, people, you can send them to a page that's just this lead magnet, where then you're able to contact them. But hers changes every and hers will change for those other landing pages for architecture and construction, and interiors is going to have maybe a different lead magnet than
Yeah, for
the
sure.
product, or even this. So this is where it really goes into the product photography, the brand photography, and then the architectural photography, which is also interiors. So interiors and exteriors. One thing, since I've known Pippa, she added drones. So that's going to be one of our new pages that we do. But this one was pretty interesting, is that anything that was on their website looked like plastic, but when she was sent the product, it was glass. And I think, again, that shows, oh, we really need to focus on this, because maybe they were using This
They were
is where,
using digitally created images,
right.
and it didn't show the quality of the product at all because you didn't get that idea that it was glass. It just looked like a plastic bottle. And actually, it's a very high quality product, and the glass plays a very important part in how you store that product. So it was crazy that they had these images that didn't show that element or make it look as high end as it should have because of the quality of the product.
And so this is something else that I don't even know where this is on my thing, but these are two people that we also met in a group that we were in. And again, she has built trust, and now they have signed up and they're using her, and they pick a package that works for them, and they picked Pippa. And these are two Call's been on a couple times. He's the designer, and then Tom is the developer, and they
Yeah.
have Few and Far.
Yeah.
But they decided to go with Pippa because they knew her, and oftentimes, we need new headshots often, or we don't need to be like me. And Carrie told me earlier, and I think this was great. Carrie was like, Diane, that photo on your podcast thing is like from 2014. I do not know how to change it. If anybody knows how to change your Apple podcast image, I think they say it's easy. I have reached out. It is not easy. I cannot figure out how to change it. But needless to say, I do need new headshots. And man, if Pippa was over here, she would be I would be getting to do my headshots. But they chose you, and it is a lot of times photography, it is about a relationship, and you do something different. And you talk about how you kind of your process. They book a call, you decide on the package, but there's all these strategy sessions that you have done with everybody that you do. Do you want to walk through that? Because this was a big thing. This is a big thing for all of your clients, even your architecture clients. You sit down with them and you have to know what type of shoot it is. But for
Mhm.
Tom and Call, what do you think was you do a strategy? Can you walk us through the strategy session?
So I
Or
think with Tom and Cole, we had known each other a while, and that was why they reached out. But one of the things that is it's one of the problems that my clients face on a I think most clients that come to me is that nobody loves having their photo taken. So it can feel quite awkward when you've met a photographer and you have spoken to them on email, maybe booked them and you've arranged to meet. You've never seen them before. You've never had a conversation before. Maybe you've had a quick call with them over Zoom. But I think there is the strategy, which plays a very vital role, but there's another element to it that is the hidden element of what that strategy does. But what it does is it helps me build a relationship even further with the client. So for those clients that haven't known me for a long time, they're coming in and we're meeting and we're doing half a day together before I pick a camera up and point it in their face. So that element is something completely different. And I've learned over the years of experience that helps us so much on the day feel relaxed when it's time to actually take their photos. But what I'm really trying to do with the strategy piece is actually understand where they are now, where they're trying to get to, and how we can create a vision for that so that we are showing them in that way now so that they can get there faster.
because you've said this so many times, and I know this is I don't know if I've seen photographers do what you do. I definitely haven't seen them do the kind of strategy you do, but you also have packages, which this isn't a sell Pippa package episode, but what it is maybe there are things that will help us. Can you put something in a package so that people become a repeat? Because otherwise you're just going on a whole bunch, you are going on a whole bunch of first dates and they're going on a whole bunch of first dates, so the trust isn't there. And I also think about with Tom and Call, they're telling stories. They do um uh, nonprofits, y'all call them charities.
Charity.
And so I was trying to think, what do they call them? But it's charity. So they are having to tell the story. And you talk about it with Aquila, you talk about it with the nano minerals, right?
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
nano minerals. It is a story. You're telling the story, and it's so much richer. But when you're a designer or a design developer team, and you're trying to tell the story of a charity to win more, so people donate, or so that more they can help more people, so that people know where to go to get this help that they're looking for. You have to tell those stories so that those people, when they're coming to your website or they're seeing you on social media, um, you are able to do this. And this is one thing, again, maybe it's really good that Pippa did tons of research on other photographers for so many years. And then she put it down and she started like really diving into what was going to work for her business. Would she want? And one of the things I love is number 4 on the process of Pippa. The process of Pippa is that you get a bank of images. You can use them however you want. I know that when I've worked with photographers before, they've said, well, you can't use this way, and you have to pay something else if you're doing this. So there's all these like hidden fees, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I thought I was already spending a good bit, and now I'm having to spend extra more. And it's like, nope. Pippa's like, I know what you want and what you need. I maybe sometimes know what you need. You say you're not going to use these for social yet, but I know you will, and you can. And once you understand, instead of it just having this headshot, it's these, we're talking about what you're doing, and you're shooting Tom and Call in different scenes with different scenarios with clients, or maybe not, because they have maybe some things that they're like, well, we don't want to show our clients here. But sometimes there will be people that you're able to show, but it's the more she knows them, she is trying to tell
And the
that
more I can
story.
understand who they're trying to attract. And I think that was one of the things that came out with charities are really risk averse. It's all about building that trust. So showing them in a light that builds that trust and is quite, I think you can almost create a barrier if you're too high end for a charity. And
Yeah.
so finding a way to make you more approachable and make your story more relatable to your target audience can be very powerful. So that's another element the strategy covers, really understanding your dream clients or your ideal clients or your niche, and then creating imagery that aligns with them and what they are going to relate to and connect with.
So then
So
in packages, are you doing, and maybe I should know this, but are you doing different strategy sessions? Do you say somebody books a 1 year? Because I think this is what I love about Pippa's. So say it's a design firm, or because I know like with architecture, they're doing projects all the time. They may have you once a month.
mhm.
An interior, if people are doing, they need you to photograph the stuff. But as a design firm, or a branding agency like Richard or something, what how many times are you sitting down with them and adjusting what the strategy is? Or is it once a year? Is it once,
So
how
we
often?
we do strategy at the beginning, and then we kind of plan out the shoots. But sometimes within that year, something changes or there's a pivot. So what we're doing is we're reaching out quarterly. So generally it's quarterly, unless they've got something very specific going on at a specific time they want captured. But we are sitting down, and generally the first couple of shoots are quite clear what we need to do. And then after that, we're having another session to figure out, right, where are we? What have we achieved? What images have we got? Where are the gaps? Where are the holes? What are you trying to achieve now? And with Tom and Cole, they're very much trying to do a lot more speaking gigs. They're trying to show that interaction. But in order to do that, they need to show that they can. So it's like, right, well, you've got no images of you guys speaking. So what can we create to show that part of the story and communicate that to your audience? Because we decipher images I think 60,000 times faster than we do text. So you can, in a matter of seconds, people can decipher that. So how can we create images that people can decode really quickly and understand exactly what you're trying to achieve?
You
And
should
then
put that
create
fact
that
on your
interest.
website. That's a really
I
good one.
recently used it in a workshop that I was delivering, and now it's ingrained in my brain.
But
60,000 times faster than text, and 90% of what the brain absorbs is through images, is visual.
and that helps all of us who are here watching this, who are visual um creatives. I mean, that's information that we are able to use. But this is the stuff that I love about Pippa, because she's doing this research and she's finding this information, and then she's taking it and saying, you know what, I can help my clients with this too. So with Tom and Call, they have had a pivot, and they planned out the shoot. They're on shoot number 3 now,
Mhm.
and then there's a pivot coming. Hey, we need to do this now instead of what we had planned. We can do the other one later. But this now becomes something that they can count on Pippa, and also Pippa can count on them. And then she knows how many new clients she has to go and tell what she does and is able to do. Um,
Mhm.
why do you think it's so hard? Because I did strategy on you, you did strategy on them. Why is it so hard to do strategy on ourselves? Should we feel like a loser because we can't?
No, absolutely. I think it's very hard when you're in it. I think it goes back to that external perspective, right? You can't see the value you bring because you are in it every single day. And often, we've talked about how we meet every Monday and we're in that pod. And a lot of what we talk about is quite similar, and we understand the value of what we're doing. And so you get to a point where you surrounded yourself with like-minded people that understand what you do, and you think, oh, everybody knows this stuff.
Mm.
Everybody knows this. And so you don't realize how much you have to offer until someone comes out and goes, actually, like, I see this, but I never knew that, or I see that and I didn't know that before I met you. So it's having that external person going, hey, you're not just the same as everybody. You're not, and being able to pull that stuff out of you and show where you are different, and just help you to get that external perspective.
One thing I love about our pod is that we can share when we're nervous, but we can also share when we have a win. And so recently, we don't have to say who it was, but you were nervous about meeting with a new client. And sometimes, we have this idea of who this client is, and we're like, we think they do have all their stuff together, and it's making us like, hey, I need to make sure I've got my everything polished. I know I got to make sure I've got everything, because I might need to take another little refresher course, or I need to do, and I do this too. And I love that we're in that group and you're able to share that. But then after you had this awesome call with this new client, they were blown away at how thorough you were. And I feel like, again, you were friends with this person before, or you had a relationship, you were building relationships.
Mhm.
And because that person was able to share with you, wow, this is more, I didn't know you did all of this,
Mhm.
that then it's like, oh, I also need to be telling people that I do all this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was really great feedback from a client who I
Mm-hmm.
did that strategy piece. And he was like, you've just delivered 10 times more than what I was expecting. And so you need to find a way to communicate that so that other people will be like, I want that, I need that. And so having that feedback is invaluable. And I think that's a lot where the collaboration comes into play, is that it is about like, well, I see it this way. What do you think? Or I see it this way. And even with Tom and Cole, we have that, like, let's mood board together. Let's think about the shoot. Let's mood board. I'll see what they're producing and what I think. And then we find a way to make it work. And I'll have a case for why I think it should be this way, and they'll have a case for, well, this is how we see our vision. And then somewhere in the middle, we marry those to align with who they are and who they're trying to attract, as well as their vision for the brand.
All right, so I want to share one more, maybe more than one thing, but I want to share this. So this is something else that Pippa does, is this kind of specifically for a brand. And I think, some people are taking changing, and they're pivoting in a way, and they're doing something. Maybe they're adding a new offering or something, but oftentimes maybe it's a pivot in the brand personality. And one of the best things that, just like that guy said to Pippa recently, Pippa gave me one of the best compliments. And I don't know if you remember saying this or not, but hopefully you weren't drinking when you said this. I know you weren't because it's too early when we meet. But anyway, but you said, oh, when I had put all the text in, because we do the text, it's not like I'm waiting for her to give me the text. She does all the text while we're talking, and I pull it out and I rewrite it. And obviously, if she wants me to change a word or change the whole sentence or
And
a
actually,
paragraph.
that's one of the things that I've found so powerful in the way that you work, is that I don't have to go away and spend hours trying to
Mm.
figure out the content and write it all down, because then I'm also using my language that I would use, but also I'm thinking about what language my clients are using, and that all comes through here.
And
But go
because
on, sorry, I interrupted.
no, that's good. But she said that it felt like the photographer she's wanted to be. This is the one. And I realize I have two spaces right here. Oh, Diane. Pippa, remind me to get that extra space right
I would
there.
never have noticed it.
Paul would have. Paul's probably like, Diane, after personality. I'm just kidding. Paul would though, and I'm thankful. Hey, I need people that tell
And
me
that
I
was
got
one
two
of the things
spaces.
that also drew me to you, is because you have this way of seeing things. Like I wouldn't notice that little thing, but you'd be like, this, you just got to align this and change this, and you can't have one little word hanging off the bottom here.
There is a lot of technical stuff on web that I really get nitty gritty on, and that's why we have two
Which is
columns right
great, because
here.
I'm not that person. I can't see that stuff. I'm not, it's not, I'm completely different. My experience as a photographer, it's not how text looks on a page. So that was an element of your experience that I couldn't bring.
Well, I'm happy to be all anal Annie there for you. Okay, so but maybe your business is pivoting in a personality way. And I think Pippa has this. She sent me this old logo, and it was like gangster Pippa. And it was like personality wise, that's not who I think of Pippa. But this is something that she does with all of her brand personality clients. And maybe you do it with the architecture and interiors and product people as well. But can you talk a little bit about this brand personality and what, because I do think this could be another time where people might need to pivot. And Paul, I did see your question. I will ask it next.
So I think it's so important to show who we are, because it's the one thing no one else can copy,
Mm.
is who we are. So it's that personal element. And when I'm working with someone, I remember when I first started, people were like, how do you decide? How do you decide how to photograph someone? How do you decide? And I was like, I don't know. I meet them and it paints a picture in my head. And
Mm.
I don't know how it comes, but it comes from me getting to know them and understand who they are as a person. And then it paints a picture in my head. And so a lot of this comes out in the strategy, and then this picture is created. And I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but the way that I see it is there are 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have, like, you can have spring images that are very light and bright and airy. And then you can have autumn images, which are a lot more earthy and warm and have warmer tones, or you can have really bold, bright photography. And all of that leads into you as a person and you as a brand. And even at the top left there, the alternative, that's Beth, who is a fellow photographer. And this week we've been talking about doing shoots for each other and doing a shoot swap. And our brands are so completely different. So she was like, well, I'd really like to go to the beach. And I was like, oh, it's not really on brand for me. So we've decided to split it into two shoots, one where I'll focus on her, and so that we can make sure we're getting the right look and feel and location for her brand and her personality. And then we're going to do another shoot for me on another day where it's the location and the images are going to be more aligned to me and my branding and my personality.
Because it's really important to attract the right person. Just even in product photography, plastic is not going to attract the same thing as glass. And I think it's really important how you do this. And this kind of goes into Paul's question. And we've talked about this, and I can answer this, but I'm going to let you attack it first, and we'll see. So I do all this stuff, right? Often is in opposition with what the marketing or the industry is telling us that we niche down. And how do you balance these competing directions? And I would think he's asking, okay, you have three different areas of your business, and they're different, you know. How do you niche down? How do you, and you and I specifically have had conversations recently about, well, how many, brand clients do you need or do you want a year? How many architecture and construction and interior clients do you need a year? And how many, because sometimes it's about your physical. Am I able to go? You have little kids. Can you go up to Scotland every week? Probably not. So,
Yeah, probably not. I think if I've understood the question correctly, I think targeting those three landing pages very specifically to those clients, but still aligning it with who I am and who I am as a person, because I think it's just as important to repel the people you don't want to work with through who you are, because I might be very loud and creative and bold and outgoing. And so that might not work well with an introvert who's like, oh, I'm quite quiet and shy and I need someone a little bit calmer. Otherwise it overwhelms me. Like, I also want to work with people that are outgoing and confident and our personalities align, and photography is so personal. But so I think you have to have that connection with someone. So taking your personality and then who you're trying to attract. And I always say, developing your unique style is marrying those two things together. So like for the construction, I'm marrying who I am and who they are into their landing page. And then for the products, I'm marrying who I am and who they are into that landing page. And then the personal branding is the personal branding. So it's just having a very clear understanding. And I think it is important to niche. I think if you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. But niching isn't easy, and you have to find the balance. And so for me, I have a very set number of big construction and architectural companies that I work with. And then I have a set number of personal brand people that I work with and a set number of product photographers that I work with, or product companies that I work with. And I decide, right, I've got most of my quota on the branding side. I need to now really push on the construction side of things so that I can get some of those projects in. So it just helps me realize where to focus my marketing efforts. I didn't read the question, so I'm not sure.
No, that's good. So but that means, so if you were going, Paul is a book designer. So if he was like, you know what, and he loves nonfiction, doing stuff with artists. He does awesome stuff. He also does stuff with indigenous peoples and their languages and little kid books and stuff. But those are totally different,
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think it's about, I don't know if it's a miss market. If you're saying, hey, I do this and I this, it's, hey, I'm targeting the people who are indigenous people and they want to put out kids books to teach their language, and being clear when you're marketing for that you have all these different pieces that you're marketing for that strain of the people. But I don't think that it's confusing, because the little kid books are not going to be the same as the nonfiction, books or something. Same thing with Pippa. I don't think that the people that are going to come to you as for the architecture work or the interior design work, that's fine if you have branding. They just see that as maybe interesting, but they're going to hone in when you're talking about architecture and construction, and they're going to see that more. I don't, I
And
don't
I'm going
think
to
that we,
speak more to their problems and pain points and symptoms that they're having when I'm marketing to them. So they're going to go, oh, that's exactly how I feel, because I'm aiming it all very specifically to them. So not just the images, but also the content of the website or the landing page is very much so that people go, oh, this is speaking to me. And then I can have, social posts
right.
or whatever it is that are targeted to get them from that social content onto my landing page, or that Google advert onto my landing page, or that Facebook ad that's onto my landing page. And everything that I'm showing them speaks to them. But then they're looking at my portfolio and they're like, oh, she also does branding and she also does products, but everything she's told me so far is speaking to me. So they might see that I'm doing other things as well. But the fact that I get them and I understand what's going on in their world means that they're much more likely to trust me
And you're
enough to.
thorough in those three worlds. I mean, you may do other things as well, but you're focusing on those three things because for your business, you may not need to be traveling every week of every month. You need some things that are product or some things that are just the people because of just some of the other things that go into maybe the architecture or something. So you can do more products at home and have those shots. So I think that I don't feel like it's a non-niche. I feel like it is,
I
and it
think the
helps.
niche is creators. So it's still under that creator
Mm-hmm.
umbrella.
Absolutely.
They're just different elements of that creator, because I could go, right, I'm going to go all in on architects and construction, and I could do that, and then I would miss out on some of the elements I love about working with people and getting to make people smile. And then when I do the architecture work, I don't have to make a building smile. I get to show other elements that I love, because I love finding the beauty in the mundane. I love finding the little
Mm.
elements and the details of buildings that show that architectural merit. So it's just finding those different elements, and that's really fulfilling for me. And I think business should be fulfilling. I think we shouldn't spend all day grinding at something that we don't
Mm.
enjoy. So it's about the balance for me is about giving me joy in what I do. And when I'm telling the story of a product and I'm in my studio here and it's quiet, I've got my music on and I'm doing my thing, my kids can be in the house that day. I can do those in the holidays and all sorts
Right.
of things. So it's very much working it around me and the lifestyle that I want as well.
But I think another thin red line is not just creatives, it's also that you are helping them tell their story, the
Mhm.
story of the building, the story of I love the beauty in the mundane. And because that's Tom and Call, or that not that they're mundane, but we all feel like we're mundane. And
Mhm.
that's the ring or this very simple necklace or
Mhm.
the glass bottle with the nano minerals inside. I think that it's elevating something to the level of the product instead of we just did this was the best we could do, and it's not
Mhm.
going across. So I do think it's important to have different income streams, and this is how you have split it. So I think this is a really good um, way that we're kind of taking this conversation, and I know we're out of time, but I think that when we are so, I know that everybody says niche, but you are niched. You're niched on creatives. You're niched on telling a story and telling it in their way and not necessarily Pippa's way.
And it's taken time to build up each niche. I focused on one niche for 1 year and built that up and built and got to
Mm-hmm.
understand that client very deeply and created the lead magnets towards that client, the language and the messaging towards that client. Then I've said, right, I've got that down. I've got that niche. I know how to speak to them. Right, I'm going to now focus on this next niche for the next year. And I'm going to do lots of market research. I'm going to talk to lots of them. I'm going to find out exactly what their problems different pain points are. I'm going to create lead magnets and systems around what's going to be more beneficial for them. And then when I've got that one down, then I've pivoted down into another one. So I haven't just gone, right, I'm going to focus on 3 niches all at the same time. And that's what I'm going to do. It has been very much one niche for 1 year and figured that out, and then the next niche for the next year. And I think that's okay as a business, because you can pivot between different niches as long as you have got all of those elements. You've understood your market incredibly well and worked very hard towards messaging that market and attracting those clients. It's okay to pivot in your niche and have 2 niches if you've done one too extreme, if you've done one where you've covered all the bases of marketing to them.
Absolutely. I love that. So your client was surprised that you did all these things. What were some of those things that he was surprised that you did?
I think it was how much I think what the strategy session often does, and this is just a byproduct, what the strategy session does for me, it helps me create a vision, but for them, it helps them get real clarity about that vision, who they're trying to attract, how to talk to that audience just through the questions that I ask. And a lot of it is just digging deep into who they are, asking lots of questions, getting them to explain their vision, getting them. And he's a disruptor in his industry. He's got lots of really big ideas, and hearing him talk about that, but then also hearing him talk about his story, which is actually a very powerful story. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I think it needs to come from him, and maybe another podcast on your show. But he had a very powerful story, but that story helped me understand his personality and who he is and how he got from that story to where he is today. And so that created that vision for me. It also helped him clarify the vision for himself and what he was trying to create and where he was trying to go. Because I think with your brand, you almost need to eat, live, sleep your brand. All your decisions need to be aligned with your brand, all your marketing needs to be aligned with your brand, all your imagery, whatever you're putting out into the world. And so I think having that clarity was very powerful for him. And then I think the second element was getting him excited about the visuals we could create. And that was all done through mood boarding, and giving him an idea of what look and feels were possible for his business. And so when we did that mood board element, he was like, wow, I can see how this is going to look. I can visualize now. And for people, I think creatives and a lot of the clients I work with are creative, so they do have that visual element, but some of them are not. And I think having them see that gets them really excited about the journey. And with photography, which can feel quite scary because you're going to have a camera in your face, having that excitement of, if I do this, if I'm courageous enough to stick my face in front of a camera, I'm going to get this amazing imagery that's aligned with my vision and where I'm trying to get to. And so I think for him, it just built that excitement and it gave him real clarity.
Well, I love that. And you're doing it together. You're feeding off of what he is. One other thing I love about what you...
And he might say to me, I don't like this image, because I'm showing him maybe 4 or 5 different look or feels. And then I'm saying to him, what resonates with you? Like, what do you love about this image? What don't you love about that image? And so then I'm really understanding what he likes and who he is. And then how we take that and create his own unique look and feel. So I think like he goes, what I hate about this is everybody looks really crazy. They're all screaming and shouting. It's over the top, but what I like about it is I like the color, I like the tone, so you can see there'll be different elements. So I like this, the angle of the images. So it's just understanding what they like and what they don't like, and then collaborating to take that vision in my head, take the vision in their head, take their ideal clients, and then smush it all together into their unique look and feel.
One other thing I'm hearing is that you're giving them an opportunity to tell you what they don't like.
Yes.
And I think that maybe we don't do that enough of saying, hey, I don't expect you to like all these. I really need to know what you don't like or don't resonate with and the things that you do. Could you pick out and tell me? And
Mm.
I think that that is something that you're doing that we all could be doing more of. Um, I know we're out of time, so I wanted to ask. I had something else on the tip of my tongue that I wanted to share, but I can't remember what it was. I think we've answered lots of it, but oh, I know what it was. One of the things that I love about our collaboration is that I always get nervous. John is always like, how many times do you have to pee before you talk to Pippa? And I'm like, well, I just am nervous and I just want it to be good. And it always is good. Pippa's happy. I'm just saying this, but she always
But you know,
encourages me.
Diane, I feel the same way when I'm having a meeting with Tom and Cole, or I'm having a meeting with one of my clients that I really respect. And I think,
Right.
I think that sometimes that imposter syndrome comes in a little bit. Someone said something really cool today. She said imposter syndrome just shows you that there's something you're really excited about. And
And
I
you
totally
care. I want to
and I
do a
care.
good job
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
You want to do a good job for Tom and Call. And I think that there's something really good. But somebody asked me and they were like, well, what do you like best about working with Pippa? And I said, she trusts me. And I know she trusts me because when I say, hey, this is why we're doing this, I'd like to try this to see. And I feel like if I go back to all my clients and what has worked and what has helped them like catapult for the bit for their business is when they've allowed me to try some things, allowed and trusted me in things that we've done. I have a inkling about something or I've done my research, I haven't been able to try it. Now the patterns is the thing for you. This is the thing I've tried and
Mhm.
I know I've seen it. I haven't seen a lot of other people outside of the pattern industry use it on their website, but I think that it's something for me. I'm definitely going to be incorporating it. But I love that you trust me in the strategy, you trust me
But I
in
also feel like it's okay for me to say,
oh,
that doesn't work for me. That doesn't feel right for me. That doesn't feel on brand for me. I'm not sure about that pattern. And I think you've been very vocal in going, I don't mind if you love it or you hate it. I just
right.
need you to tell me. And that's very similar to how I work with my clients because I would rather get it right and create something you love than do something and you're like, oh, actually, when she's delivered it, I'm going to go and change that element because I
Right.
don't.
I that's what I noticed when you were saying today. You were like, I think you're giving them an opportunity, and I feel like I do that too. But
And you
I
definitely have done that with me. And I felt like I can say, hey, that pattern isn't working there for me right now. So
and it doesn't hurt my feelings.
try
Hey,
something
I've just
else.
had fun making now I get to make another pattern,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't it's good. It's clarity, I think. So anyway, I want people to know how you can and Doc says he loves that take on imposter syndrome. So
Yeah.
the one thing Pippa gets to do is she gets to choose a winner. This is our final winner. Well, I think I'll choose one more for the rest of this week, I guess. I'll pick one out. I have four winners already. Now or I have three winners. I will have five total, and you'll get art supplies, people. And it's just going to be fun stuff. And you get some cards to send to some people to love on them because this is love on designers. It could be love on creatives. So I'm going to share Pippa's uh her links. So you can find her on Instagram at andpip.co.uk. On LinkedIn at Pippa Tanko brand photographer. All these are at the very top, whether you're on wherever you get your podcast, but also right under if you're watching this on YouTube. And then this site, it has under construction. It's andpip.co.uk. That is the one that will be released in March. And I know March starts Friday. It's not going to be released on Friday, but I am really going to work on it over spring break. And I really hope that we're close. In March, it will release. So Pippa, I want you to tell me when to stop. And I'm just going wherever I'm just scrolling up and down in the chat. So if anybody wants
Okay.
to try and get some fun artsy things, just type in the chat and then you tell me when to stop and I will stop.
Okay, so how does it work? Do you then choose the person at the top?
No, I choose wherever my mouse is scrolling.
Or wherever it lands.
So wherever you say
Nice.
stop, then I stop. And if it's on me, then I go to the person below me.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to not look at the chat and I'm going to let you do it.
Okay, I'm doing it. So you can't see mine.
Okay.
Carrie says she wants art supplies. Well, hopefully you get it, Carrie.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Stop.
Brian Yan. Okay, I know Brian's so Brian Yan is the winner for the live one. So Pippa, thank you for doing this. Thank you for letting me be your web designer and letting me play and explore.
Well, thank you for all your hard work and helping me get real clarity on all the things that I need to make my website sing, and I wouldn't have worked with anybody else.
Well, I'm really glad. I can't wait. One day I'm gonna hug your neck, and
I know I can't wait. So definitely we're gonna do it. It's in the plans.
We'll be teary even, I think.
I know, I think so. I think we will be. Although with me, that's not that difficult because I'm a crier.
I know, but it's always good to be able to have people that we can cry with and we can learn from and grow with. And just to make sure everybody knows, you can always support Doc and Julie in giving to I have the link. I'm trying to find it. Anyway, I've got to go to a different page. Anyway, Doc put it in the thing. But I want to just Julie is Doc's wife, and Julie's an awesome artist. She's a photographer. She does a lot of amazing art. You would love her too. But she has cancer again, and we always are supporting, and I always think it's good. We can't all pay for everything, so there's a GoFundMe, and you can give $10 even just to help save the tatas again. So if you would like to, I'm going to put this in the chat, but you can go to GoFundMe, GoFundMe.com/F. I don't know why F like Frank, but don't write Frank. It's just F/save-the-ta TAS again, because this is her second time dealing with it. And we just want her to just be that survivor. And they have 4 girls. So I just love them both. So we're going to save the tatas. If you want to give anything, it's right there, the link. And that'll also be under Pippa's link. So Pippa, thank you so much for today. And I'll see you, of course, on Monday. And everybody else, I won't be here next week, but I will be here the following 3 weeks. And we're going to be diving into the stuff that I'm teaching in my grad class on stories that stick. So it's not all stories that stick, but I'm going to be teaching, so they'll hopefully be a little shorter. And then at the end of those 3 weeks, we're going to do a on-air workshop. And I don't know if I'll be recording it or not, because I want y'all to have flexibility to be open and honest. So thank you, Pippa, for doing this with me.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Nice to see everyone.
All right. I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Oop, there's some floater. All right. But Pippa, I'll see you on Monday.
All right. See you Monday.
Bye, y'all.